Welcome back to Rhinestones and Rants, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on the world of dance, the people shaping it, and the untold stories behind the sparkle. Today is big, and I am so excited because today we are talking about a studio that's more than a studio. It's a landmark, it's a movement, a magnet for the most iconic talent in the world. I am talking about Millennium Dance Complex. You've seen it, you've watched videos, maybe you dreamed of dancing there because if you are a serious dancer, I know you know Millennium. And today I have the woman who built it from scratch, Anne-Marie Hudson. Anne-Marie isn't just the owner of Millennium, she is the heart. From humble beginnings to global recognition, from a space of local dancers to a destination for international stars, Anne-Marie turned a vision into a worldwide dance revolution. So how did she do it? What was the dream? How did she keep relevant in an industry that changes by the minute? Let's dive into the story behind Millennium, the why, the how, and most importantly, the who, because that's what we're after. This episode is called Dance Dreams and Hollywood Scenes. Meet Anne-Marie Hudson, the queen behind the Hollywood curtain. So sit back, relax, might want to grab your dancing shoes for this one as Anne-Marie is in the house and she is going full out. So smash that like button, share the love, subscribe, and let's sashay into it. Welcome to Rhinestones and Rants, where the glitz of the dance world meets the real talk of industry and a dance mom who lived it every day. This podcast isn't just about perfect pirouettes and dazzling costumes. It's about the raw, unfiltered journey of raising dancers, navigating the competitive scene, and balancing the chaos of life beyond the studio. So grab your coffee or wine, adjust that messy bun, and join me and special guests for a little bit of rhinestone-covered realness. Click that like button below, subscribe, and let's get into it. So welcome, Anne-Marie, to Rhinestones and Rants. I am so excited to have you here because for years, my daughter has been dancing at Millennium, and Millennium has what I would just call iconic. I mean, it has become the center of California. People from everywhere want to dance there, or they do dance there, and it's a privilege to actually be there. But what's interesting, when I wanted to do an episode around Millennium, I was like, okay, who owns it? Because you're the most iconic person and you have been behind the curtain. And even when I was trying to track you down, that wasn't the easiest feat. So I'm even more excited. I feel like I bagged the elephant. Like I have you in the house, and it's an honor to truly have you here. But I think for those people that are listening that don't really know you, telling your story and learning about who you are, I think it's probably the best place to introduce yourself and how this all came about, that, your earlier time, who you are, and then how did you all of a sudden mastermind opening up one of the most iconic dance studios in the world, because it's global.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And I think this is just the most amazing idea for a podcast.
Thank
that
you.
You're spreading the dance studio owners' perspectives and choreographers. So very exciting to be here. It's been 35 years now with Millennium here on the
Millennium's
West Coast.
open 35 years. I was like taking a look at that, and how many, you have a lot of locations too.
So about 15 years ago, I started franchising.
Okay.
We have about 5 locations now. We
Incredible.
were at 33 at one point.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So
Talk about the mastermind behind this whole thing. And most people don't know it. They go in, they go dance at Millennium. They either buy their class online or they come in through the doors. And here you are, literally the mastermind behind putting this whole thing together, which is so impressive to me. Talk about I am woman, hear me roar. Incredible.
Well, I don't know, I think I've been following my passion and was fortunate enough to get opportunities. And then, when you're ready for it, you just work as hard as you can. And I got a great opportunity with Millennium when I moved here to California in 1991. And, the star of Millennium are all the choreographers. That's what attracts Millennium. And we've been lucky enough to have them from before they were star choreographers. We like to attract young talent, and I was able to bring them in when no other California studios would, talk to me or let me have their instructors. So we got people from all over the country who couldn't teach anywhere in LA. And I just checked them
Unbelievable.
out, and the good ones, yeah, come teach for me. And we were all new and kind of started together.
So
So,
your dance backgrounds was, I mean, you said you were in New York and you would dance in New York. So talk to me a little bit about that, like how you got involved in dance, how you knew, or whatever it was that you knew that that was your passion and that was your path. Because I think a lot of dancers, I did an episode recently about what's next, right? Like you dance, you invest all this money, parents invest all this money, and it's sort of like you get the eye roll from people. So why are you spending all this money? Like what are you going to do with it, right? And we spoke about a full hour of all these different pathways you can go.
mm,
You had a passion for dance. You were in New York. I want to understand more about that and then how that passion led you to, I mean, you just fly. I mean, a lot of people fly out to California with big dreams. You actually flew out with dreams and did it. So let's
wow,
explore that
I
a little bit.
drove an old U-Haul. I stayed in my sister's garage in Venice with my boyfriend at the time.
Very sexy and
Oh
glamorous.
yeah, it's a great story now. But I'm from the New York area, so I grew up, taking classes in and around New York City. And when I was 5, I started ballet. You see it on TV. I think there's something that sparks in your soul for all of us who are interested in dance. It's not something that you can uh, chart a course for, I believe. It doesn't make sense to chart a course. Will you be a professional dancer? Will you be a teacher? I think you follow it because it's your passion and see where it leads. So I danced in New Jersey outside of the Lincoln Tunnel for years, and I got into gymnastics. I taught dance and gymnastics locally, and then started going to Manhattan and discovered the hottest New York dance studio at the time, Farnworth and Hauer, and I was taking aerial acrobatics there because my mother wouldn't let me do dance because you can't get a scholarship to college with dance. Although with gymnastics, you could get a scholarship
Back then, now there are
back then.
scholarships for
Yeah.
dance.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't want to say the year, but it was a very long time ago.
I
So,
don't talk years either, by the way. I've stopped discussing years or age. We just go with it. So
yeah,
yeah,
times
I
are very
relate.
different then. But when I walked in, I was 10 years old, and I remember writing in my journal that night. I've found what I do want to do with the rest of my life, as long as I'm taking class from him. Charles Kelly is a master teacher, passed on now. I will be in paradise.
Love that
And
so
I
much.
had a great suburban studio with wonderful teachers. And I just remember going through the bagel shop up the rickety stairs to the dance studio. It was actually the Ed Sullivan Theater. I think they shoot
Yeah,
Saturday Night Live there and all that.
totally.
And they would change the light bulbs for Ed Sullivan Theater on Broadway. They'd have to walk through our dance class. And there were people from all the Broadway shows. I was 10 with the aerial acrobatics. Everyone else was in their 20s. And they were singers and dancers. And my favorite character from Sesame Street, Maria, was there. It's like that was a big celebrity. But that was me. They were crazy, um, different crowd than in the suburbs. And I knew that was for me. And I had no idea how to get there. So I took for years there. And then I went to college because you would never continue in dance in my
So when you
family.
went into college, you didn't major in dance.
Oh God, no, I was not allowed to. So we come from a corporate family. My dad was a New York architect, and
Love
you
it.
go get your degree, and now you do something that you can, move forward with in life. And through a stroke of luck, um, I opened a little dance studio, a little fitness studio, taught dance, and some dancers from a local show came to take class with me.
And this was in New York.
This is in northern New Jersey.
Okay, got it.
It was a Playboy Club back then. There were big casinos and
Oh,
resorts.
this was in Highland Lakes, the Playboy Club.
No, but Highland Lakes is very close to where I grew up. We used to
Because the Playboy,
swim
they
with
had the Playboy Club that they opened, and I know that
It's
was
in Vernon.
Vernon, right, which is
Yes.
right near Highland Lakes. Yes.
Yes,
My
exactly.
dad was a member there. That's
I'm
how.
from Faison Lakes.
Oh,
We
how
swam,
crazy
you
is
guys.
that?
Yeah. It's beautiful country,
It's
northern New
stunning.
Jersey. Yeah, and half hour from Manhattan. But they came and they said, "Oh, how did you, do this?" And I was 22, and I said, "Well, I used to take from my favorite teacher in New York." And she said, "Oh, I know Chuck Kelly. Are you kidding me?" She said, "Oh, there's a brand new dance center that just opened up, and we're all taking classes there. You want to come?" Broadway Dance Center,
Oh my
the
God.
first year that it opened.
I'm
So
loving
that's how
this
I got
story so much.
hooked back into going to Manhattan dancing, and then I would go into dance. I would teach my classes at home. And
So you
one
learned the business aspect from this little studio that you had. I mean, I guess it was dabbling your first entry into.
growing up in high school, I taught gymnastics and dance at my house. I had kind of a big house. So mom let me do that. So I had quite a few students and I taught for our recreation center and
Hmm.
whatnot. They, faked my ID and when I was 13 so I could get paid. So I was always teaching dance and teaching gymnastics. I love dance or acrobatics. I love dance so much. But for some reason, everyone was always asking me to teach them or to spot them. I could break down things. So I organized little workshops at my house and people would come over on the weekends. I have 20 people at my house doing workshops or it was kind of a weird thing. It was a weird kid thing to do. So I never really followed the dance because I was always teaching.
Well, I
And I
think
love
that
that.
I actually do think that that is following the dance because in my business world, I always say you can be the best salesperson. It doesn't mean you're going to be the best leader. And you can be the best leader, and it doesn't mean you're going to be the best salesperson. And I think that's a really hard delineation that a lot of people in the business world they don't always get, right?
Mhm.
It's sort of like where your niche falls within what you do, and then passion, builds throughout that. So
I
it's
totally
and
agree.
I think that that truly drew you, and you created your path without even knowing you were creating your path. You brought it to you, which is
You follow the passion and it's a twisty road. So years
definitely
in college in Colorado, like never thought I would do anything. And
so what
it
did you
came
major in
back to
college?
me,
It was
foreign language. Yeah.
foreign language.
I always wanted to have, normal job, international guest house,
Love it.
which is very funny because years later, while not trying, I do have the Los Angeles Dance Dorms, and that is an international guest house for dancers enrolled in the Millennium programs. And I have dancers from all over the
Which we're gonna
world.
get into these incredible programs that you put together.
Founder and CEO of Millennium Dance Complex here in Los Angeles. I'm super excited to be collaborating with IDC organization and competitions, giving free scholarships, free classes, and building up to a free education at Millennium here soon. See you soon.
But my point was, I think whatever you have that passion for, follow it, but don't. The universe will lead you there. I really am one of those people. Just follow your path. Universe will lead you, and it led me to have my little international guest house without even trying, and it's not much work, So
It is true. I mean, I have a pillow that says never let anyone dull your sparkle. And
aw.
it's something that I've literally told, I think I talk about it on every episode. I've told my kids about that phrase since they were born. And, I believe that everyone has their own sparkle and they have their own light. And as long as you don't allow anybody to dim it and you follow whatever it is, you will find that. And once you do, you just know it. And some people are very lucky because they get to find it at a very young age and others find it later, but somehow some way if you don't let yourself get derailed with negativity, I do believe that you find it and sounds like you completely did.
I totally agree, but I started Millennium at 31 and a half.
So you
So,
left New York. You left New York and you came to California.
yeah, after number of years, taking classes, dancing there, small shows, nothing big, but I just really loved it. My boyfriend at the time became my husband and father of all my children. He got into writing screenplays, et cetera, et cetera.
The
My sister
Hollywood
moved to
scene.
California. Yeah, so we loaded up a U-Haul, went to her garage in Venice, and for his screenplays. And I helped him with the legal side of that, and he was a creative. We did sell some movies of the week that
Oh,
kept us
that's
going.
cool.
And my friend from New Jersey, who knew I was into dance, had moved to California, and she met me. I hadn't seen her in 40 years, and she said, "Anne, there's a dance studio right here where I live. Let me pick you up." And it was in Studio City because I've seen Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, and this was in their heyday, out in front there. So we went in, and it was this huge
And
building,
it was called something else, right?
Morelandis.
Yes.
Yeah, which is why, yeah, Morelandis Millennium. But the Morelandis building was a famous building that started Vegas. So it was George Moore and
Ah,
Ruth Vegas.
so cool.
Ruth Landis started Las Vegas, and they rehearsed everything there because Las Vegas didn't have anything but a few hotels. So it already had a theater history. Anyway, I walked in and it was crickets, cobwebs. We were like, well, this is awful. There's a little sign, night manager wanted. And I thought, that's interesting. Awful, but awful. And 6 weeks later, my boyfriend and I had driven out, and I got a job at that dance studio.
So you got a job as a night
200
manager
a
or
week.
teaching?
Night manager, $200 a week, because they saw I had my own studio, and they saw that I was the assistant to the director of Broadway Dance Center in New York, which happened. So I started taking classes in New York City, and the owner who founded it, Richard Elner, I would chat with him. He was an older man in his 60s at the time who loved to dance, and he was a businessman, owned a T-shirt factory in Manhattan. And I'd chat with him every day. And then one day he said, I'm psychic. I said, oh, I'm kind of into it. He goes, and I think you should work here. And I said, oh my God, I'd love to. Like, wow, come see me tomorrow. So I'm excited. I'm going to be on work study. Like, how fantastic. In New York City, I'm jeteing across Broadway, literally to get to the payphone and tell my parents. So I come the next day and he offers me the job as the assistant to the director.
Phenomenal story.
I commuted in for a while. Then I met a dancer and, lived.
And I find, as big as the dance world is, that's as small as the dance world is. It's crazy to me. I mean, it grows every single day, but everybody that I've interviewed so far and talked about their journey, it's like 6 degrees of separation because everybody like knows somebody. And, I think Brooklyn J was on and he was saying, I was standing at a bus and somebody came up to me and asked me if I was famous. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm famous. Like he just like went with it.
Fantastic, yeah.
And it's like everybody has a story of how that happened, and yours is amazing. It's such a riveting thing. So then
I was on a break from college and I was taking classes, and my parents were like, time to go back to school, junior year. And I was in a class and I had a epiphany, a breakdown. Joy rushed in. It was on a Sunday night during a class, and I started crying and laughing, and I realized what I wanted to do, and nothing mattered but the creative part of it. I saw the teacher, Scott Hunt. He wasn't worried about, where his 401k plan. And I unpacked my bags and I started taking class in Broadway Dance Center in New York.
Phenomenal.
Which at that time was like kind of a cutting edge.
Which
thing.
helped you get this night job that you were talking about.
I worked there for 3 months and then he fired me because I was always on the plane going with my boyfriend to his fights.
So when you were working as the night manager at Millennium, how long did you do that before?
3 months. And I'm telling you, 3
and that
months.
was it. So then how
They
did you
pulled
end
me
up
into New York? I worked for Broadway Dance 3 months and then I started dancing.
And then how did it go full circle?
Well, I worked there for 3 months because the owners of the building evicted the person I was working for, who was, a known dancer of the time, was on the TV show Fame, blah, blah, blah. So, but really wasn't focusing on running a dance studio. And he goes, oh, we heard you, ran studios in the East Coast. I'm like, yeah. I go, you think you can run this? I'm like, yeah, sure. So he goes, go for it. We just want to keep the building open. So the guy kicked the guy out who went with all the teachers and all the students down the street. So I just started fresh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Millennium. Happy birthday to you.
Shane Sparks, Wade Robson.
Did you put ads out, or because the people knew that studio was a place to dance, they were coming in?
Yeah, because like you said, it's a small world with I call it the commercial dance world.
Yeah, it is.
It's even smaller. And so there's only a couple places you're going to dance. So all the aspiring professional dancers know those places. Same is true in New York. And also it's a smaller world because, which I found out doing my franchises, it's really a professional brand. You can try it in Salt Lake City and there's great dancers. There's a great studio there. And a lot of their dancers have come to us later. But to work professionally, it's New York and LA. We had one in Miami.
And how did you know, like when people walked in and said, I'd like to work here, how were you able to decipher between, okay, I'm going to let this person work here, or I may not let this person? Like, what did that look like?
I know. If they were teaching, I would go travel and see their class.
Okay.
And some of them you just go with a vibe. I remember Shane Sparks came off the bus from Ohio, and his girlfriend was right. She's like, oh, he's fantastic. And he was. So everybody knows everybody else also in commercial dance.
So true.
So as you said with Brooklyn, like we give them a chance. It seems very altruistic, but really you just put them in, have them sub, and see their talent and see how the students respond.
Right. So for those people that haven't watched the Brooklyn J
Oh,
episode,
sorry.
they should absolutely go watch the Brooklyn J
Yeah.
episode, because he did talk about, and you didn't know this story,
No.
but Brooklyn J had been homeless, and he also came to California with a dream of, dancing and living his passion. And he ran out of money. And when he ran out of money, he became homeless. And Millennium actually served as the place that he would go to in the evenings, because it wasn't safe to sleep in the park at night. So he would stay in the lit up parking lot at night and just kind of dance in front of Millennium. And then when the light came on, he'd go to the park and he'd go to sleep. And he met lots of other dancers who were teaching at Millennium, and they would give him a pass to come in and dance.
Yeah.
And then he has a great story where he talks about that you gave him a chance. And what you did was you said, I think this is his words, and I hope I'm not mistaking them, but he said that you had said, okay, I'm going to give you a chance. If you can fill the room and you can get people in, you can have another chance. And he said he called every single person he knew.
Oh, that's
And
so
he was like,
great.
show up. And
That
before
is
he knew
so
it, the class
great.
was sold out.
Aw.
But I feel like I want to
Well, that
share.
takes a lot. That's on his talent, though, because
But
honestly,
I want to share the story because
Yeah.
I think that you have affected and changed single-handedly so many lives that I don't even think you realize how many lives you changed, because then I'm talking about a choreographer who came to California to try to make it, and he's killing it now. And you had a hand in that. And then
Millennium did. And it's a very common story, even the sleeping in the parking lot. And the people go on to do very well. But the thing that happened to me, so it's just my experience, follow the passion. And when I came to California, no one would talk to me. Who's she? This girl from the East Coast. We don't know her. Not that I was anyone there. I wasn't big in the dance world. I was just on the management side. And no one would talk to me. No teachers would teach for me. It was very closed off in LA. It was not that way in New York City at the time.
how long did it take you though to build the trust in the LA dance scene?
I don't think we ever did, which is my favorite thing about
Come
it. And
on,
all the other
seriously?
studios really shunned me, and it was a huge old building. So the fun thing was, like, they didn't give me any credit, but it was almost the best thing that ever happened in this large. I could do whatever I wanted. So I
True.
was, and I had a building, studios were white then and the whole thing. I just painted it colors. I was into feng shui. I decorated funky. I painted banners. I just did exactly what I wanted. Didn't matter anyway. Couldn't get any worse. There was nobody in the studio anyway. And just the people who came in, check them out, give them a chance. And it was all new talent. So the word was a lot of great talent came in from different parts of the country. Maybe they were too young. They didn't have LA creds. Oh, that studio over there, you can get an opportunity. She'll check you out, give you a chance. So all the new talent,
Sometimes I wish
came.
the acting world would do that. My daughter's also an actress, and
Oh,
you see a lot of the same people consistently getting the same roles, and people that are coming up in the acting world, they're always saying, I wish somebody would give me a chance. And it sounds like you were the pioneer of that for so many people.
inadvertently.
Yeah.
I
You
can't say
did.
that it was due to any forethought, but that's exactly what happened. And so it was very fresh. And some of the choreographers, sometimes we talk that there were so many people there, dancers and choreographers, who made it extremely big. And we were all just young and budding together.
And that's what I was going to ask next is
So that's
when we talk
magic.
about building your brands, it obviously took a village to do that. And how do you think became like this iconic building, this iconic place to go and dance? Like,
I think that it's a concept that really wanted to be birthed into the world. I think that's true with lots of great ideas or businesses or songs. I don't take credit for it at all. I think it was an idea that wanted to be birthed.
you should take credit for it.
And when I'm glad to be a part of it. But when my husband was, well, we're divorced now, but African American.
The X.
And so when I moved to Los Angeles, unlike New York, it was very racially divided. And there was a studio for the hip hop and the black people. And then there was the classic ballet studio. And then there was such a Caucasian. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't care anymore. And I look like a white cheerleader, which I was. But so I would hear a lot of things and I didn't like what I was hearing. So when I got my chance for Millennium, I really was about giving everyone a chance and every type of dance a chance in the same container so we can learn to live and work with each other. And so I had all the hip hop there, and people used to tell me, "Oh, you can't. That studio has hip hop. That's just a flash in the pan," because no one would get hip hop a proper studio. And there's all these jazz dancers trying to do hip hop, and they didn't have the real thing. So they said, "That's a good flash, and then where will you be?" So when I was in high school, our music teacher said that they said that about rock and roll.
Which,
You
by the way,
know,
a lot of studios today still say that. Like, because my daughter is,
yeah, like
my daughter's
30 years later.
she's a hip hopper. Like, she loves hip hop. She loves jazz. Like, she does all genres, but she really does love hip hop. And all of when she was doing studio dance and she would come and dance at Millennium, that was where she was getting the real hip hop. Whereas her studio was like, oh, you don't need that. But in fact, that's the commercial part of the
It
dance. If
depends
you
on
want
what
to
you want
work
to
in the
do. Yeah.
industry, you need to, all the technical and all of the ballet. And I'm not saying that don't take any of it, but I think that that's what attracted us so much to Millennium, because it was the place where she can go and get that commercial training versus
Oh,
just the contemporary and technical. It was a place for her to, that's how she would get, if she would get hired on a Beyonce tour or Taylor Swift or whatever, you needed that commercial background. And a lot of studios, unfortunately, they're so into when you're growing up, the training, which I don't take away from. I would, if I knew
very
that,
needed.
very
Amazing.
needed.
Yes,
But it was
absolutely.
adding it on. And
Yes.
for those people who don't know Millennium, which is hard for me to imagine that a dancer doesn't know Millennium, but how many studios are in Millennium that you have? Is it
We've always had 6 studios.
6 studios within the building?
Yes, 10,000 square feet buildings. This is my 3rd building.
Unbelievable.
And they keep knocking them down, and then we just move down the street.
And what's great about it is, like, you can be in studio dance if you're in Southern California or wherever you are, and you can be in your studio dance, but you can go onto the website or onto the app and you could see at any time. There's multiple
drop-in classes.
choreographers,
You don't have to
drop-in
sign up
classes.
for it.
There's
Yeah.
no contract.
No.
You, whatever the cost is per class. And you even, what I always appreciated, if you were a SAG actor, you had discounted rates for,
Yeah.
working actors as
Still have
well.
that, yeah.
And you can go and take a 90-minute class, an hour class, whatever it is, on any genre that you want. And you
Absolutely.
learned from different choreographers. And I appreciated it so much because it was definitely a way to expand your breadth of what you learn every single day in studio dance. So we loved
Totally
it.
agree.
And I know so many other dancers that, have also come up through Millennium. In regards
Great.
to the brands, was it that you got a lot of these unknown choreographers and then they became famous
Yes.
choreographers and then they attracted other famous choreographers?
I had the space, scouted new talent, and we had a vibe going there. And we had enough studios to have the classes. And then hip hop did catch on. But of course, I mean, I've never done a hip hop class in my life, barely. So I'm, jazz, big jazz dancer, love jazz.
But Broadway jazz or
Just
all jazz?
all jazz.
Sassy jazz too?
Sassy jazz, thrash jazz in later years.
Ah, love it.
But we have ballet still. We have, God bless, our 2 tap teachers. So the one thing I think is great about having a container, and the one thing great for studio dancers, is when you go to the commercial world, yes, to be a fantastic dancer, and the training you get at the studios is the best, except in hip hop. You need to come to other places for hip hop. There's a difference between being a young dancer, a trained dancer, and being an artist and being someone with that flash, that zhuzh,
That zhuzh, that sass, like
yeah.
that. It's just, you
If
have
you
it.
don't have that, they're not going to hire you
No.
for Beyonce. They're going to look at you're a star on that stage, and you don't get that from staying in your suburban town.
1
You need to
billion%.
branch out, and you need to do different things as a person artistically. And what I like about having a big studio is I think those lyrical dancers, they can take hip hop, they can take ballet. Even if you're not in those classes, it's a hive of different art forms. So you kind of feed off of each other. And that's what creativity is. We don't want to be memorize this ballet steps, memorize this jazz steps, even hip hop. Yes, that's how we start.
Correct. You're learning it, but you're
But
making it your own.
let's make it our own. Let's
Yes.
develop as artists as you get a little bit older. And you need to be exposed to different things in the dance studio and outside of it, I believe.
And thankfully, I did learn that early with my daughter. And so obviously the theme of this is if I only knew then what I know now. And I retrospect, I mean, some studios that she had gone to, she didn't go to many, but some studio dances that she had been to, they wouldn't let her take classes outside. And
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
say to anybody listening to this right now, this is something that you should really ask, because if it is important for you, for your child to take classes anywhere, and I'm not just saying Millennium, but in this case, I'm going to use Millennium since we're talking about it, you should ask that question, because the last studio she had been at, I said, look, you have this class at this night, but she needs hip hop and you're not offering the hip hop that we want. And she's going to go to Millennium on Monday nights at this time, and she's going to skip this class because if I can't get her hip hop, I can't be at the studio. So, it's sort of like a negotiating balance tool, but you need to be able to at least have that knowledge to ask those right questions, because what you're offering at Millennium was the best thing that ever happened to her, to be
So
honest,
happy
to be
hear that.
fair. And till this day, she still comes home. She's home for the summer, taking classes at Millennium. I mean,
Oh.
she's always looking to see what choreographers you have there, and you do have the best. Talk to me about the Millennium sign. How did that become so iconic, where people literally on bus tours, so
I
this is
know,
a
it's
true
so
story.
funny.
There are tours in California of people that come from out of town and they
We
take
had
tours.
40 bus tours in April.
Like these bus tours, they
I know.
stop at Millennium
Yeah.
to get out of the bus, to take a picture like, hi, I'm in front of Millennium, like me. And then they post on social media. It's become
It's
this.
a pilgrimage site. They want to touch the walls. But I think it's like a dream factory. And it's the whole thing. You could just come here, whoever you are, with your dream and possibly make it. And possibly you will come there and your dream will change. As mine did when I started. It will take you in another direction. But you get to fulfill the dream of having that professional dance ambiance. All your teachers are
Do you think
directing tours and choreographing tours or on the tours.
Do you think that social media actually affected people wanting to be there and have a Millennium t-shirt, or say I've touched that wall, or I saw that crystal chandelier, or the red room, or
And it's funny, when you've been around 35 years, I'll go back. We had a show. First, it's just word of mouth, because like you said, the dance community is so small.
correct.
And then people would see their teachers dancing with artists, because there wasn't social media, remember? So they'd see them on the tours on TV, or they'd find
Yes.
out they choreographed the tour. So it was all about who choreographed what tour. And then we had one of our young students became a director. He's still a great director now. And he started with us when he was 8. And he brought a show to us called Dance Life, about Millennium, about 6 dancers at Millennium, and Jennifer Lopez, et cetera. So that taped, and a lot of dancers came out for that show and became very well known. And
Who are some of the famous people that have
gosh,
been through Millennium?
I don't
So
want to
many.
do that, because I'll miss one or two.
Okay, well,
But you
I
can
know,
go on the website and you can.
I know, Britney Spears. You said J-Lo, Michael Jackson. I mean, there are so
If you
many, but I
name
think
them,
for people that are listening, I mean, this is still a place where people rent out space, and they
Yeah.
come to
We
fine
still
tune
have
skills.
the pop stars coming. Justin Bieber was. What happened with the super big stars was we got such a so well known. Or Justin Timberlake, his choreographer, still teaches for us forever.
Justin,
We love him.
incredible.
But it got so well known that it was a little bit of a security rest for them, because we had paparazzi everywhere for years. So, but yeah, a lot of new artists like to break by getting our Red Wall videos, which go viral often.
How did it feel the first time you saw one of these videos go viral in your establishment? Millennium's viral with over millions of likes and
Yeah,
all
it was
over.
great. I mean, it happened. Well, the first thing that happened was this TV show. So when that goes into other markets, so that was our video of the day, was MTV. And we had that show on for a number of years, and MTV becoming, Robin Anton hooked us up with that. So Millennium was like the MTV, which, if you don't know, was how music videos were shown across the world before social media. So that's what began the international popularity. And then
Which
social media helped,
totally.
and it's great to see it go viral, and it's because of the artists, and we're just there to facilitate the artists. And what I love is I'm not a dancer, and like back in New
You are a
York,
dancer. Once you're a dancer, you're
yeah,
always a
always dancing,
dancer.
but just meaning I feel that it's important to have a director kind of behind the scenes and not in it, because you can make better judgment calls. You're not acting, you're doing what's best for everyone, and not
Mm.
because a lot of the, you don't want your class first. And maybe that's great. Maybe you're a hot dancer, but 15 years later, maybe not. And you're pushing other dancers down. I've seen that a lot. So I think it's good to stay a business person and negotiate the classes with a bit of perspective. I'm trying to be politically
But
correct.
no, but you know what?
Yeah.
And when you are running business, I don't care what business it is, there is that very fine line, right? And you have to, I mean, you're honestly, you're a badass. You're a badass CEO running like this major
Got a great
corporation.
staff, and I think that's you
I
just
know because I had to break through
train
5
your
gatekeepers to try to get to you. So I completely, you have an amazing staff. And thankfully they were able to get you the message, which was even better
and
than
they're all
that.
dancers, except for one girl was not, who retired. She was with me for 25 years, girl. But she is Jin Lee. She was wonderful, held down the fort. But everybody's a dancer. Everyone started out as a dancer, then a work study behind the desk. A lot of people have started their careers by filling in for a teacher who didn't show up. This is years ago, and now they're, A-list
Yeah, that's
choreographer.
incredible.
Yeah, so it's a place where there's a lot of opportunity.
When did you have the first inkling that you were going to expand franchise, like go international? I remember going there one summer and there was this unbelievable Asian population that was there. There were Chinese dancers, there were Japanese dancers, and they were coming in by buses. So they were here for the summer and I was speaking to one of the girls. My daughter actually started talking to one of the girls and she was so excited, like they're taking pictures all over the place. And they were
Yeah.
so beyond excited and thrilled and honored to be there because they had watched this on social media for so long and now they have the opportunity to come there and train and dance all summer long, which is what dreams are made of,
It
right?
is, and just to see, I guess with social media and again with the TV shows, the choreographers are like they're stars, and rightly so. I'm so glad to
They
see that.
deserve it.
My favorite story, if I could tell you a quick
Please.
example of the story of Millennium. Years ago, you have to understand, Justin Timberlake was in a group called In Sync, and it was the hottest thing that there
Ever.
was at the time. And their choreographer, long time, Wade Robson, taught for us. He started teaching when he was 10, and still we're lucky to have him teach when he pops back in from Hawaii. Brian Friedman was his assistant,
Oh,
you
Brian,
know.
love him.
What was the story I was going to tell? Oh, so a boy came in with his suitcases from Germany off the plane. People come for their suitcases to the front desk, and I happened to be in the front desk. And Marty Kudelka was Justin's choreographer for Justin Timberlake. And he said, I would like to, yes, I want to take the Marty to Kudelka. This is my German. I'm also German passport,
And you
so
do
I
it
can make
so
fun. I
well.
can make fun of it. The Marty Kudelka. I have come to see if I can take the class. If he is here, I am a big fan, big fan. And we're like, I was like, yeah, okay, okay. Well, I think he's out back. You want me to get him? And the guy who says, what? Like, I think he's in the back parking lot, which everybody hung out there.
Right.
you
Everybody
know?
hung out in the parking lot.
Which you don't realize, like, these are superstars, and they're all hanging out in the back parking lot of Millennium. So I said, oh, come on back. It was so cute. He was adorable. So I brought him back, and I said, hey, Marty, who's the most amazing guy and leader in dance, and has mentored generations of dancers on. Well, he's not that old, but he generally is just always helping people. Talk to him. I'm like, okay, great. Hey, this is so and so. So I didn't see the kid though. I didn't see him for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, what happened? Aren't you dancing? He goes, oh, well, I flew to Las Vegas to see the In Sync and this and that. And I run into the Marty Kudelka. I'm like, really? Yes. And he takes me. Now the kid's backstage at the Justin Timberlake. And then I stayed in their suite with the In Sync and the Marty. So the kid is
Best story ever.
So I'm just telling you that happens all the time, and how wonderful are these choreographers, so it's a great feeling to facilitate that.
And I have such a respect too for these choreographers. And another reason why I wanted to do this podcast, because they are so kind to the younger generation coming up because I think that there's this unspoken respect that, the dance world is small, but we want to keep the dance world continuing to grow. We want to keep it going. And, you have to have a lot of patience with the younger generation. And you hear, some people like, oh, I'm not dealing with those little youngsters. Like they're too big and the ego goes too big. But the people who tend to stay and keep evolving in this dance world are the people that don't get too big and they remember like what it felt like to be in that dance class with that number or to get
So
called out.
true.
And I have such an appreciation, like it gives me chills sometimes when I see as big of a choreographer as that person is and they take the time to take that picture with that kid or to really understand. And that speaks volumes to me as a parent, let
Mhm.
alone as, a person that has a kid who's come up in this dance world as well.
What we were
So
talking about earlier, I don't think anyone went into it because they thought they were going to make a great career out of it.
no,
You didn't. You went for the passion, and
correct.
some do, but it's not generally, thought of that way. So I just see the dancers come back, and that's how we got really famous. Was our dancers that started out, in the parking lot and whatnot, who became famous. They'd bring their famous clients back to our facility because of the vibe, and
It's the best in there. You feel it when you walk in.
I'm so happy. And they come back. They don't need to be teaching. I mean, what do they need to come in and teach a class? No. They're coming in because they want to give back, because they are dancers and want to be in the dance studio, and they generally want to share their art. That's what I love. Some of them, no. And you know what? Maybe those aren't the people who are like the natural teachers and mentors.
Mm,
And that's okay too. Because in our center, it's about the creativity and training people. What's it like in an audition? What's it like to go that fast? What's it like to be around people who are so much better than you, who are dancing on tours? So it kind of takes you to the next level. So they're not hand holding at
right.
all. It could be, so they're preparing you. But if you see those choreographers do it, it's just for the love of it.
And then I think we started to talk about it, but then we diverted, which was
Okay.
fine. But how did the franchising piece, like
Oh, that's
what made you decide to do that? Like
because
giving up
everybody was
control.
franchising. Yeah, well, I didn't think I was. So our little movie business that we did that helped us get the first studio, the attorney for that, I thought, oh, it'd be nice to put it in different countries. And whoa, he suggested, and my friends, a franchise. So he did the paperwork on it and this and that. And people are still asking me about franchises. We just started selling them. In Japan was the first franchise, actually.
So smart.
Yeah.
So smart.
So we
How
started.
big is the studio there?
It's no longer there.
Oh,
There's only 6 still there. There's a great one in Germany. They're in Cologne. There's one in Brazil. But there have been one in every major United States capital. There have been 30 in Japan, Singapore. I mean,
wow.
it's been, but what I learned from that was I tried to, there was a whole idea of how to keep the Millennium true to the brand. And what I learned is they're great studios, but nothing can compare to Millennium LA or if there was a New York professional studio, because you don't have the influx of the top tier dancers
Right. They
and
all
choreographers.
come.
They're all going to move to New York or LA.
Yes.
So you could get good dancers. And
Like
we
they may
tried
go
to,
on tour and they could maybe stop in and whatever,
yes,
but
yes. And that's exactly what happened. Or they would visit, we'd hook them up to visit, but you can't, that's not your, daily meat and potatoes. I'd say that's the dessert. So they became nice studios, and it's a little bit challenging working with creatives and the dance business.
how do you handle that? Like and I love the positive word, like it's not negative. It's like there are challenges or I always say opportunities, right? Like I never say like, oh, that's a problem. I'm like, there's an opportunity. So how do you deal with like that? Like
have a
when
lot of people working the front, and that's why I'm not there. No, you know what? I really appreciate creatives and their mindset. And what I believe is if you get too bogged down with business, it really takes away from the creativity. They have not grown up because they're so fantastic. They don't have a mind that necessarily works that way.
Mm,
So I feel like it's a great partnership. For my job is to be able to create a container that's an ethical container, that I could make the tough decisions. People may not like me, or this wasn't
people don't know
I gotta
you. What do
keep
you
the
mean?
gotta
Maybe
keep
the people that work,
well, just,
but we don't know
you
you.
move my class from the big room into the small. You don't have any
Oh,
people in
that
there
kind of
anymore because
stuff.
you've been
Right.
gone a lot. So that stuff, but keeping the lights on, keeping things going. That's my job, and giving everybody a chance to teach.
Yeah.
And so I feel it's a partnership. And I've got, again, a great staff that came up as dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of a little bit of a formula over the years that that we use. And again, the brand, I just really think my signs, love all, serve all, dance more, and no racism, no sexism, just dance, are just real things that I believe in Millennium we were having a microcosm of how I wanted my world to be, Anne-Marie's world, and I got a chance to do it.
And what
And
drives you today differently? Because it's sort of like same thing, same question for you. If you only knew then what you know now, does it look any different? Is it the same journey? And if it is, what drives you now versus me was not driving you then?
right now, well, keeping it going. I'm getting a little old.
I don't know. You don't look old to
Well,
me.
that's good, but we do live in LA.
That's true.
But faced with we have a great staff. My son's involved a little bit. I had kids very, very late, so they're a little too young to take over fully. But how will we keep this going? If it's a good thing, and it seems like it is, how will this move forward? So I'm really busy setting up people who can keep it,
keep the legacy
continue.
going.
And how do you do that you don't burn anyone out? So I'm really looking at it from that perspective. And with social media, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm not creative that way. So hiring the people who do, Julieta is just, she scouts and she does that on social media. I can barely post on Instagram. So, it's just now more of a director. And whereas before it was just me behind the front desk hiring people, now it's a large staff and our videos go viral. We have a Donovan's our director of videography, so we film a lot. It's organizing that all and how will we move forward?
And what do you want Millennium's legacy to be? I mean, you've done so many incredible things, but if you wanted, like if you had to say what the legacy would be.
It's my passion in life is dance was a great vehicle, but there is every type of person, every race, every socioeconomic background coming in with the modality of dance, which is a vibratory modality. They speak every language, trust me, languages you didn't know exist, but they all are kind of feel that unity, even for a moment. If they have their bus from China and they're just for a moment, they're all dancers and it's a different level. The movement supersedes everything. And that's what I want my world to be, something that's based on the spirit. And I've always felt this way. And I just feel like the universe gave me Millennium to help that dream and to inspire dancers, because the dance is just a creative outlet. And my dancers at Millennium are so diverse.
So diverse, incredible.
And I just love it. And I think diversity makes creativity, diversity of dance styles, hip hop. In the beginning, there was just hip hop. Now there's 12 kinds of hip is branched out.
And without knowledge, there is no growth. So I do believe that, the more you learn, the more you grow. And you have to, in order to really grow, you need to change and evolve, right?
And be exposed.
Yes, exposure.
And you don't have to go into all those classes, but just, it's kind of in the air and getting used to.
What would you want, like studio owners, dancers, choreographers? Like if you had this magic wand at this point, what would you do with the magic wand? Like what would you want them to know that you feel people are still struggling to know? Or
to be honest with you, I'm so not in touch with dance studio owners across of that type, because it's not what we do. We have them come in with groups, etc. And I feel that part is such an amazing training. Those dancers can be so fantastic for what they go through.
I wanted to actually touch on that. You have an incredible training program that you do at Millennium for pre-pro. And I had looked at that, but we were too involved in studio dance at the time. And if I only knew then what I know now, I actually think I would have pulled her and done that. Could you talk a little bit about that program? Because I think people should know you have it.
It's a certificate program. So since I stayed away from anything kind of organized, it does help people to get jobs as choreographers in other states, other countries, dance judges or this and that by saying, I dance at Millennium. So we thought, okay, finally we'll create something that you get a certificate of completion that you've studied at Millennium.
Mm-hmm.
And they do use that for work and whatnot. And it's a way that dancers can come and take unlimited classes, which I don't think anyone does, for a certain amount of time. And and they get a
So they
certificate
pay
for
like a
it.
flat fee,
Play a flat fee.
and then they dance unlimited
You can take 10
classes.
classes a day if you want. I mean, the most they take is 5.
But then you actually also, in addition to that, you're guiding them, mentoring them.
Yeah,
Was
they have
there?
once a week they have a mentor, same mentor. They have to write in their journals what they took, and he teaches them about the business, answers questions. Sometimes we'll bring managers in or an agent in, but all of our people are working people. They can answer it all. So once a week on Wednesdays 11 they gather and they can ask any questions. They'll do video workshops like how to slate, how to
So
behave.
important though. Like
Yeah,
it is. I mean,
behind the scenes stuff.
yeah, no, I mean, my son goes to USC and he was interviewing for a bunch of companies for internships. And I thought, oh my God, you have all these smart kids at USC, but they're not teaching these kids how to interview. And because I work in the business world, I got a hold of him and I was asking him some questions and I was, oh my God, he needs help. And, but I worked with him around the clock and he's phenomenal now. But I think that, like you said, learning how to slate, how to get hired for these jobs.
How to look on a video. We have people coming
Yes.
here looking schlumpy. It's like you can't go to an audition like that.
And you can't wear a leotard to go like in a ballet outfit to try out for a hip hop video.
No.
Like you have to look
And
like
I hate to say it, but
crazy.
it's super fun. You got to get the makeup right. You got to get the hair going. Whatever it takes, figure that out because others will.
And you have to stand out, right? Like, because if you just blend in, nobody's hiring the blend. They're hiring
you've got to have that look.
that judge.
And another thing, which is really true with choreographers, one or two exceptions, but is a lot of the kids that have an attitude. And I think a lot of the studios, they're like, you got to have this attitude. I think that's a very bad thing to teach because the truth of it is, in a certain level, the people with those attitudes really don't get hired. And again, we're the biggest choreographers, and they can even have an audition. They usually work with the same people, the same crew for years, and they're all great dancers, but they're going to work with the professional people, the people who are punctual, the people who are nice people, easy to get along with, good work ethic. And this is what no one tells. They go, oh, I have this. No, that is just fake. That's one thing I would say the dance studios they teach them that. Oh no, get along with your neighbor because that's what the choreographers are really, because they're going to be stuck with you. They're going to be stuck with you on tour or for days in and days out on a set. So be a good person, be responsible, get to know
Such good advice.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm actually gonna take all that and I'm gonna put it and link it onto the website because it is really important advice specifically for dancers who want to continue this as a career and move into commercial dance. I mean, there's such a thing as going on a company too, but when people that are dancing at Millennium, it really is a commercial path and you have to get that it factor. It takes a village, but it takes a village to get hired also as that and to be able to lean on choreographers who have done it so successfully. And just because they did it successfully doesn't mean they're going to continue to do it successfully, but at least you have somebody that you can talk to and you could ask questions and learn because like I said, with learning comes the greatest growth.
But also when you're in the environment from the suburban studio, like I say, which is fantastic. We all start out there, but you get that from being in class with the people who came from all over the world and already have it, are dancing on tour. When I went from the suburban New Jersey into New York, I looked like, I was from Basin Lakes, which was a great place. But I look like that. And as a few times a week, I'm in New York. I go home and people are like, oh, are you from New York? Like, you look like a New Yorker. I didn't try to do anything. You just pick up the vibe.
Totally.
You pick up maybe the fashion. I'm just wearing leotards, but it's just the way.
It's the way you carry
be
yourself.
Around
it's
those
the confidence.
people you want to,
I agree.
Yeah.
So tying it up, what excites you now? What's the next thing for you? Like, you've done so many incredible things. So what's either next or what is it today that really excites you about this?
Well, the most fun for me now is spending time in the studio with the kids, the front desk kids, and the people who come in. I feel like maybe I'm a goodwill ambassador now, and I'm pretty funny actually. And I couldn't do that before. Now that I have other people running, I really like to have people come into Millennium and feel happy, feel connected, and feel part of it.
Which anybody that's listening,
Really,
if you go
that's-
into Millennium, that is Millennium.
We
You just defined it.
drive that in, and all my managers and directors, and my Julieta and Luke and Jen for you. Connect to the people and they will feel at home, because if you don't feel comfortable at home, you're not going to be relaxed. If you're not relaxed, you're not going to be able to learn or be creative. That's learning. So be connected, feel part of it, feel part of this great thing. And everybody started where you were.
Is that what you would tell 25-year-old Anne?
No, just follow the vibe and it's all going to work out, and do what you care about. The universe will find some way to do it. And if you really try to help people out in whatever you do, be good, bring somebody else up, you're going to be successful eventually.
Well, best advice ever. And I am so grateful for you for sharing your story.
Oh, it's been so much fun.
You are
fantastic
so
for having me.
iconic. You have built something that will be for eons and eons to come, I hope, because we feel so blessed and lucky that we've gotten to share in that journey. And you really single-handedly, and I know it takes a village, but you have really created something that will last a really long time, that people will be talking about forever, showing the red wall, the chandelier, the incredible choreographers. And I'm so excited to see what's next for you, honestly.
And my last thing I'll tell you, the red wall, I'm into all these, I was into feng shui. And I'm like, how can we help the dancers here? She goes, oh, red is the color for dancers to ground their creativity and bring them to material success in the world. Just paint that red. I'm like, paint it red? Yes, this will help the dancers.
And it
then it took off. So
took off. Everybody with the I have a picture. I'm not even a dancer. I have a picture in front of the red wall. So it's the best.
Red's a good color for success and creativity. Evidently.
Well, thank you so much
Thanks
again for
having
joining
me.
us.
This has been such a pleasure.
I have enjoyed
Really.
this so much. Anne-Marie Hudson didn't just open a dance studio. She opened a world where passion meets performance, where talent is nurtured and launched, and where dancers from every corner of the globe come to chase their dreams. Millennium is obviously more than just a sign or a name. It's a movement, and we are so lucky that we've had the woman behind it to share her journey with us today. So please make sure you follow Rhinestones and Rants on all platforms. If you like this episode, please smash that like button, share this episode, tag us with your own Millennium stories or photos, and don't forget, dreams don't just happen, they're choreographed. Till next time, see you soon.
Don't let anybody treat you like regular glue, because you're glitter glue. You sparkle, you shine. Get it, girl, get it, friend.